Now, Doug, you asked that question. Sometimes people they start with a new year. I want to do something better. I want to get healthy. How were you able to maintain that? Most people start and they don't continue.
Well, you know what? Small, simple changes add up to really big results. And my Million Hearts video exactly deals with that. Because when we start small and we feel like we can accomplish this, it wasn't such a big burden. When people go in and they say, oh, I'm immediately going to cut all the food out of my diet, I'm going to start immediately doing, an hour at the gym, that's why we fail. We have to start small, feel good and empowered. Yeah. That makes us keep going because we can do it.
Yes, small, simple changes. If you've just joined us, you're on the Accelerated Wealth Show. We're talking with Gail Mates. She's a national spokesperson for the American Heart Association. She's telling us her story, how she went from being terribly unhealthy and really in line for the next heart attack and going to cut her life short to actually how she climbed her way out of this doing small, simple changes. And I want you to stick around for the rest of the show because at the end of the show, we're going to talk about a unique seminar and workshop that we have called our Income Planning Workshop. You can do small, simple changes to help you actually reach your goals in retirement. And what we find, there's so many people that are not prepared for that, but we're going to talk about the simple changes that you can make to actually bring security and know what your income is going to be in retirement to give you peace of mind. So stick around for that towards the end of the show. Gail, tell me more about this program, Small, Simple Changes. You made a comment about it was a program in your neighborhood.
Yes, it was at a local church, actually, called Losing to Live, and it had to do with starting small. Like 1 week, you say to yourself, what is it that I can do differently this week that will help me along my path to being healthy? So I started to drink a little more water. So I hadn't been really drinking that much water, and water is so good for us. Not only does it fill us up, and also sometimes when we feel we're hungry, it's actually we're thirsty. So I started having like a glass of water before a meal and then a glass of water 2 hours after a meal. So not only does it fill you up, but, it's just such a good thing to be drinking a lot more water. It's life, changing to have a lot more water.
It really is. And we're here in Colorado Springs. We're at 6,000 feet. I live in Monument at 7,200 feet. If you're in Black Forest, you might be at 75. When you're at that type of altitude and low humidity, I mean, you have to drink more water. You really do. And what is it? 60% of your body, I think, is made up of water, if it's not more than that. So your brain actually consists of 90% water. 90% water and a lot of fat, what our last gentleman told us. Remember? Okay, so simple changes. Anybody can do that. Anybody can make simple changes and begin to improve their health. How did you then get involved with the American Heart Association and the CDC's Million Hearts program?
I just want to talk about how anyone can do this. When I do these 10,000 steps, almost all the time, I'm doing these steps inside my house. Okay. So I will be walking up and down and all around my house. So there are ways to do things and incorporate it where you don't even have to go outside, like when the weather is bad. So what happened was I knew that my family had a tradition of heart disease. So I was asked to go to a luncheon, and I walked in, and I just went up to the desk to ask to volunteer, and they said, "Oh, well, you need to answer a few questions over here." So I actually had just started losing weight, and I had lost 20 pounds, and now I've actually lost 70.
Wow!
And so they asked me all these different questions about how I had changed my lifestyle. And they picked one person to get an NBC TV nationwide special, and they picked 9 people to be spokespeople across the country.
Hold that thought, because that's where I want to go right when we come back from the break about how you got to be that, sounds like that special spokesperson. This is Chris Abeyta with Accelerated Wealth on AM 740 KVOR. We'll be right back.
Let's go back to Doug Berkey and Chris Abeyta for more about your financial future with Accelerated Wealth.
AM 740 KVOR, you're listening to the Accelerated Wealth Show with Chris Abeyta and Doug Berkey, and we're talking with Gail Mates, and she's the national spokesperson for the American Heart Association. And also coming up, I just want to remind you, we have Income Planning Workshop coming up February 4th and 5th. If you've ever wondered what your income is going to look like when you retire, or if you don't know and you need to find out if there's going to be a shortfall or if you're going to be able to structure things that you can have confidence and peace of mind in your retirement, give us a call, 466-5634, to reserve your spot February 4th and 5th. We're going to talk more about that towards the end of our show. Gail, we were talking about the simple changes you started to make, and one of the things you started to do was taking 10,000 steps a day, even if it's just walking around your house, that these small, simple steps can make such a big difference in your health. And I just wanted a little thing. I picked up one of these little Fitbits. Are you familiar with those?
Yes, I'm wearing one right now.
These little activity trackers. They're so much fun. I just picked one up, on Black Friday, believe it or not. They were on sale at Walmart, and I thought, I'm going to try that. And it syncs with my phone, and it tells me every day how many steps I take, and actually helps me and encourages me to be more active. You can track your daily weight. You can track how much water. It's really a cool, fun little way to be active. Yes,
I agree. Considering that I only started with maybe 150 steps at the most, the important thing is for people to never give up and know that no matter what they can start with, if they can only start with 50, each week just adding a little bit, and what is your personal best?
Yes.
And so walking is such a great exercise, and the Heart Association recommends that we do 30 minutes of that 5 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 30 minutes of walking 5 times a week, or go to Walmart, buy a little Fitbit or Best Buy somewhere, and they're not paying me to say that, but you can actually track and see. It'll track what you're doing, and it's the small steps to getting you healthy. And here's why. If you don't have your health in retirement, you don't have retirement confidence. You don't have peace of mind. If you lose your health, you're going to lose your wealth. And if you lose your wealth, you lose your freedom, and you lose everything that's important. And so it's small, simple steps.